Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds. This is where I like to collect together all the different things that I picked up over the past. In fact, I got 13 things to run through with you guys. I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback on it and talk to you about how and where and why I got it. Maybe I'll turn you on to something. Maybe it'll just remind you about something cool that you've got in your own collection and you can pull out. Either way, we're going to have a good conversation here talking about all this great stuff, so stick around for that. Before we get into it though, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, if you turn on notifications, you'll never miss an episode and stay up to date on really cool things like this with New Music Finds. So as I always like to, I like to kick off with new releases, and I only picked up two things from this past week, but very good in my opinion. And first one up is Neil Young, Coastal, and this release here is a live recording, and it is a document, it's a soundtrack to the documentary of the same name. And I'm not usually one for live albums, but, I hear all the time people say things like, oh, the live version's the definitive one, et cetera, that kind of stuff. Well, in certain cases, I would actually agree. There's some live renditions of stuff on this that I like far better than the studio versions of the songs. In particular, the song that is, let me find it on here, Love Earth from World Record, his latest studio album with Crazy Horse. I was not too into that song. It's the opening track on the album. But I gotta say, when I heard it on here, it blew my mind. I really liked it with the audience call and response that happens. And I actually had to look it up to then find out it was on that album. So I go replay that and I go, oh, that's why I didn't like it. But it sounds so great on this. So that was a very cool discovery that there's some versions on here that I actually ended up really liking. A lot of rare songs on here that he barely ever plays live. One of my personal favorites, I'm the Ocean. He does a version of that on here, which came from the album Mirrorball in 1995, where Pearl Jam was backing him up. In fact, he does 3 songs from that album on this. So again, just another cool thing. But it's a lot of stuff from albums that, don't usually get a lot of love. So that was a lot of fun. And the live album, the tour for this, was for this album, the before and after, where he went into the studio and in one take recorded a bunch of those songs. But even if you have this, it's not the same as this. Some of the tracks do appear over here, but there's quite a variety of difference to this here from this. So I thought they were just going to be straight, match each other up sort of a thing. A studio version versus a live version, it's not. A lot of stuff over here that isn't on this and vice versa. So I do highly recommend this in the end of the day, not just another typical Neil Young live album. Plus, it's a live solo release where it's just him and a guitar or on organ. There is somebody who joins him on second organ for 1 or 2 of the tracks, but outside of that, it is just Neil. And yet, amazingly, it sounds very full. It doesn't just sound like one guy and one instrument. Does sound a lot greater than that. So again, highly recommending this. All right, the other one I picked up was initially released as Record Store Day on LP only, and then here we go, 1 week after that, getting a release on CD, and it's the T-Rex Bolan B-Sides. So this was getting a release, as I said, on LP. It was one that I was not able to get a hold of, and I looked up online and was very happy to see that there was a CD release only 1 week later. So Record Store Day, which was the 12th, then on the 18th, this came out, and this is in one of those 7-inch size style packaging, but it is 2 CDs. Not really sure why they've been doing this, just something this label's been doing, I guess, maybe to make them a little more interesting and different. But that did come out, and if you had the one that came out last year, which was Bolan Boogie, a 2 CD best of, which was A-Sides, Bolan Bides is the companion. It's the same look. That one has a different photo of Mark Bolan, but it's in blue. This one here has another photo in red, but they are companion pieces of one another. So of course I needed to get both of them. I have the other one already. When I saw this, that's why I was going to grab it on LP. But like I said, so glad to see that there is a CD edition of it out there. Okay, so if you saw my unboxing of CDs from the mail that I had posted, I believe it was on Monday, and those came from Bad Reputation Records again. I've done some other ones with that label, and I want to thank Eric for sending those to me. Lots of cool stuff, and at that time I didn't really know anything about the releases that I was talking to you about. Of course, now I've had a chance to listen to them and devour them, and I can talk more about it. So the first one I want to talk about is one of the bands that I didn't know anything about, but that Eric said he thought that I would enjoy, Ganifoul. And this is Dangerous Times. It is their 2025 brand new album that is out. But this band goes back quite a ways into the 70s. And I was enjoying this release so much. They are a French band. And apparently the name itself is French slang for being a fool or a person who is a fool. Because it didn't mean anything to me before when I first read that as Ganifoul. And I don't know if I'm quite saying it right or not, but that is the best pronunciation I can do, at least at this moment. But bottom line is, they basically sound like an AC/DC style band. Without ripping off AC/DC, it just has that cool blues rock vibe that they have. Listening to it, it just, I don't know, totally has that same sort of sensation and everything. So I really enjoyed this. And from getting this one, which was sent to me, I immediately went and ordered their previous album called Roll On. And this one here was from 2023. And that was so good. I went and got this album, which I want to say is from around 75, 76 era. And it is called Full Speed Ahead. So band goes back into the 70s, and this release here might have been their second or third release, but able to get this. And if you do like them, both of these are also on the Bad Reputation Records label. So see, Eric scored anyways. He sends me this one here to try out, and I turn around and go out and buy two more from the band because it was just that good. So, you know, he easily made me a quick fan of this band here. And if I can track down the other two, I believe there's 2 or 3 albums that they did during their original run before getting back together and putting out the 2 new ones that I showed you. I will be picking up those as well. But great stuff. Don't know why I've never heard of this band. Highly recommended. But like I said, they are a French band. Lyrics are in English. And they sound like AC/DC, which is, you know, cool thing because you can always have some more AC/DC sound and style stuff. All right, now one that I did certainly know about and was very excited to get was the new release from Company of Wolves. If you guys remember this band from back in 1990, they put out this album on Mercury. It had the single Hanging by a Thread, which I absolutely love. Just good straight ahead hard rock music style stuff featuring Steve Conte, who would go on to play with New York Dolls and Michael Monroe and have his own band. And I'm sure he's done a lot of other stuff as well. But frontman was Keith Brewer. So this album was actually intended to be their second studio album, but was shelved and didn't actually get released until the 3rd release for the band, but it's now getting a release here under the original name of Rhythm and Booze. It would get the release under the name Sterile Spy Case, but it wasn't all of the songs. So this adds in 4 more songs and is the original track listing in order that it would have been had the label released it at the time, being Mercury Records, but they got dropped, unfortunately. And if you do like the sound of this, you're gonna love this because it absolutely just continues on with that kind of sound and style of writing and recording. I've always loved this, never felt like I had enough of it, wanted another album, now I've got one. So really great, recorded in 1992 and finally seeing the light of day now on Bad Reputation Records, though they had also put out Shakers and Tambourines. This one here, which was released as their second album, and then later on you got the other one. This was actually songs recorded before the debut that didn't make the debut album. So again, if you just want more of that sound, Bad Reputation has already put this one out. I've shown that one in the past. Not one that I got this go around, but I want you to know that there are 3 things out there by Company of Wolves if you like that band. And while we're on the whole Company of Wolves thing, I did head over to Keif Brewer, the lead singer's website, and found out that he was in a band called The Ravens, and this is spelled Ravyns. And I think this is 83, 84 in that time frame. Unfortunately, the print on this is so small and a bit blurry that I can't read any of the info that's on it, even with my glasses. But he has reissued what I believe to be his debut album that he, first thing that he recorded and did. So I managed to go over and pick that up. So I was having a whole cool Company of Wolves weekend, enjoying all of that great stuff. Now back over to Bad Reputation Records. Another one that was sent to me from Eric that I didn't know anything about, but he's saying, hey, knowing your style, I think you're gonna enjoy these artists, was this one here, Sound Barrier, Total Control. And I got to talk to you guys about this one because it did just come out on Friday, as well as these two. Both of these are actually Friday releases, but I wanted to talk to you about them in terms of the Bad Reputation unboxing that I had done. So Sound Barrier Total Control is 4 black guys in 1983 putting this out, I want to say on MCA Records. Really good hard rock on the verge of metal, but this really caught me off guard because when I first listened to it, didn't really click with me, but upon the second and third release, it just got better and better, and it became one of my favorite things that were sent to me that I got to do out of this unboxing. And so while I love Company of Wolves and would totally tell you to go grab that, out of all the things in here that I didn't know anything about, next to Ganifoul, this is a fantastic release. And turns out a lot of you guys actually know it because I got some great feedback from you guys when you saw me talk about it in the What Just Dropped series, and then again on the unboxing episode that I did. Loving this, but a lot of you guys didn't know that the band put out a second album in 1986. This is 83, but they did make one more album in 86, so I'm hoping to find that one. But this stuff is really good. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it available to stream, although you can find the second album available to stream. But this here, totally worth it. Head over to Bad Reputation Records to check that out. Another new one that he threw in there was Bad Angels. This material here was recorded in 91 and 93 and sounds like very typical style glam metal music. It's got killer vocals like you would expect from that sort of stuff, kind of in the Rat, Stephen Pearcy sounding family of music and lyrically, or not lyrically, but a vocal style, I should really say. I show you the guys, you get a feel for that and go, oh yeah, I know what that's gonna sound like, right? And I wanted to show you sort of their inner logo like that, which I actually think is a better album cover than this thing here. But, either way, there you go. Good traditional glam metal style stuff from back in the day, recorded in 91 and 93. Getting a whole album release now called On the Rail. Bad Angels, name of the band. All right, and another one thrown in was Eric McFadden, and this is his 2025 release. So it's cool to get a couple new 2025 releases in there from these two bands, and some 2025 reissues thrown in. but great guitar player, played with George Clinton, the P-Funk All-Stars, played with Les Claypool from Primus. So this is one of those guitar players who has a lot of skill, played with a lot of different people, leans on the funk rock side of stuff. And this is just a great hard rock album that's got a little leanings into the blues and the funk and soul and different sides like that to him. But it's just a great rock record all in all, and definitely recommend checking him out as well. And one I haven't cut into just yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I already know this artist in this release, which is why it hasn't been open just yet. I always like to open them when I'm going to listen to them. But I do want to point it out to you guys, Casanova. We got Michael Voss on vocals and guitar. He's played with Mad Max. He's also played with Michael Shankar. He's done a lot of different things. He's a well-known producer. So you probably know something from him, whether it's solo or Mad Max or with Michael Shankar. But this was his, well, I wasn't say it was his first project. I think Mad Max was his first project. Then he went off and made 2 albums with Casanova in the glam metal vein. So, I mean, you can look at the guys and just know that. And cool thing is, it comes with a 5-track EP or 6 tracks EP of acoustic songs on there as well. And that's one of the cool things Bad Reputation Records has been doing. They're adding in bonus tracks and B-sides to a lot of these things, making them greater than just, say, the standard Rock Candy Records reissues or Wounded Bird. 2 other really great reissue labels, but they don't always put bonus content on them. And I know I've seen at least that Bad Reputation Records seems to be doing more of that, adding in a bonus disc or adding in an EP or something like they're doing here on this, the Casanova. But really great stuff. I absolutely love this album. Another highly recommended one for you guys to check out. And so that's the stuff with Bad Reputation Records. You can head over to the French record label, check them out. Definitely worth doing. Lots and lots of killer stuff beyond just these that I've shown you guys. If you followed my channel, then you know that I've got lots from that label. I've got a stack about this big right now of at least 30 to 40 different albums where they just are cool at getting a lot of long lost albums back in print. And then what I didn't really know, which is they're also doing new releases, and that's a great thing to see too. I'd love for them to talk Company of Wolves into recording a brand new album. Let's get a new one out from those guys. Don't know if it'll happen. Don't know if the Company of Wolves guys want to do it, but Steve Conti's still floating around. Keith Brewer, the frontman, still floating around. I don't know about the rest of the guys, but that'd be really cool. Okay, and I picked up a couple vinyl things here. These are actually older Record Store Day releases, with Record Store Day just having happened on the 12th, and then going into record stores. A lot of these places have older Record Store Day stuff pulled. It's discounted. They're trying to move it. I found this one, the Dirty Knobs Humdinger, that's the A side, and the B side is Feelin' High, and it's 2 different non-album singles that they collected together on this 7-inch to release. If you don't know the Dirty Knobs, that is Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers on guitar and vocals. That's his band. And of course, since this time, they have put out 2, I think 3 studio albums. So very, very cool. Glad to find that. That was a cool find. That was $10. And then Wall of Voodoo, self-titled mini album or EP release that came out, I think, a year ago, limited to 2,000 copies. It's got a fold-out 24-inch by 24-inch poster and lyric sheet, and is on swirl marble vinyl. But it was just a mini LP that they had recorded, and didn't have a I don't believe this has had a CD release, although I think the tracks have been gathered up on another release, added on as bonus tracks or something. But with the most recent Wall of Voodoo release, the Lost Live Tapes, or the Lost Tapes Live that I did, an unboxing and review for you guys, and having had that, and I know that's getting a CD release, my mind was in Wall of Voodoo mode. So when I saw this, I was like, wow, why did I not know anything about this? But I do see that even though this is a 6-track, I guess, mini album, it's $38.98 from Ryko Records doing the reissue. That's a lot of money if you ask me for a record store release when it's basically EP. But this was $10 off, so at $28, I felt it was totally worth picking up. So adding that into my wall of voodoo things, I am only missing 2 of their albums now. I've got 2 on CD. I've got that, and I've got the new Lost Tapes Live. So got to hunt down those other 2, but Wall of Voodoo is one of those bands where it's very hard to come across. Their albums are usually worth quite a bit of money. I'm sure I'll find them eventually. That is part of the fun of going to record stores and doing the record store hunts that we love doing here on this channel. But there you go. That is the stuff I picked up. 13 different things, covered all different eras and styles and types of things, from CDs and vinyl and 7 inches, and even CDs in 7-inch style packaging. So a little bit of everything for you guys. But I hope you found something in here to go search out. I'm going to once again tell you guys to go head over to Bad Reputation Records. Check them out. Head over to Keif Brewer's website. Check out Ravens if you're a fan of Company of Wolves. That is a cool release. But all in all, just a lot of great stuff. So hopefully be talking to you guys real soon. And, let me know what it is that you picked up from this past week that is your fun, cool find of the past week. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.